All right, everybody, welcome to Saturday. I hope the week went well and the weekend goes even better. I had some great feedback last week with that thyroid video I posted, which was really awesome. Lots of great comments, including this one from a current patient of mine. So threw the hat on again for you. I hear you, Ryan. Also, my marketing team did tell me I'm terrible about this and I need to be better. But if you do like this kind of content and it's meaningful to you, then please like, comment, share, follow all the social media things that people ask to do, because one, it tells me that this is meaningful, and then two, tells me what you want to know, what you like to hear, and what I can tailor content to, because I want this to be meaningful for everybody, and really help you live a happier, healthier life. So definitely give me your feedback. I love to hear what you're thinking and what you like and you don't like. All right, so this week, glucose. So you would be surprised. I look at blood, work almost every single day of my life, and you'd be surprised at how many people are chronically elevated with their blood sugar levels. Even the most fit people that you would not suspect at all. I'm talking like high-level athletes, personal trainers, even some nutritionists are really, really close to like borderline diabetics, and I see it routinely in their eyes, kind of like get that 1,000-mile stare when I start telling them that they're trending on the diabetes track. So it's a very common thing that is really routine, and a lot of it just has to do with diet, lifestyles, etc. That we have here in Western culture. But anyway, so I have this patient who is similar to that, really healthy, very focused on a lot of good things, but she's been chronically in the what we would call pre-diabetes range for the last couple blood works. I've been working with her for about 7 months now. These are her last 3 blood works. She said I could share them, which is great. So she's not improved much. She's been hovering right around that diabetes mark. Just so you know, hemoglobin A1c is a great measure of what your true glucose saturation is. Quick science lesson is the hemoglobin A1c basically measures the average glucose saturation in your cells over the life of that cell, which is usually about 90 days. You have billions of cells in your body, and that hemoglobin A1c gives you an average. And why I really like the hemoglobin A1c when we look at glucose status and glucose intolerance and insulin sensitivity and all those things is because that 90-day average really eliminates the small one-off. I just went to Cabo, for vacation, so I ate a lot of things and drank a lot of things I probably shouldn't have or normally don't do, or, it was Memorial Day weekend and, so I kind of wrote off the diet that weekend. Those type of things. It's not eliminated, but greatly reduced. And so this gives me a pretty good indication of what your true glucose saturation status is, which is why, again, hemoglobin A1c is something you should really be paying attention to in your blood work. I know I do. So anyway, so she's been at that stage where she's been in that pre-diabetes range, and it's at that point where we kind of say, okay, we need to either start knocking these numbers down, or that's where we have to start talking about adding in medications, metformin, a low dose insulin, something like that, which you really don't want to do. I don't want to give that to you, and you definitely don't want to take that if anybody watching is on those medications. It's just not fun. So let's do anything we can to avoid those prescriptions. So what was interesting when we started doing her blood work and I really started focusing with her on this about, I don't know, maybe 3.5 months ago, was her hydration status, particularly her kidney function. And this is really important, especially for, all the Arizonans out there when it's hotter than the sun out. You're just chronically and constantly dehydrated, even if you're drinking water. So her kidney levels are chronically dehydrated, and these are her numbers right here. These are her BUN, which is a good indication of how much water is running through your kidneys. The kidneys are one of the primary excretors of excess sediment, waste, things that your body just doesn't utilize, including glucose. So if you have excess glucose floating around in your bloodstream, the kidneys are one of the great transporters to basically pee them out. So as you can imagine, if your kidneys aren't really hydrated, and kidneys love water, I always use the water pump analogy, you have to submerge a water pump, in water for it to do its job and be happy. Kidneys are the same way. They constantly need water cycling through them. So if there's not enough water, it's going to be like a water pump outside of, being submerged. It's going to get hot, it's going to get run down, and it's not going to work well. So kidneys are the same way. So all I did with her, we literally changed nothing else, was drink more water, rehydrate those kidneys, and let's see what your glucose is. And I'm pleased to say that this was her most recent glucose reading, this was about 4 days ago that we just got back, and literally nothing else changed. Almost a 3/4 of a percentage point dropped with just hydration, which is huge. So that's something that if you're not doing right now and you're not actively monitoring your water intake, you definitely should. So what do we do with water intake? I'm not a big fan of the drink 120 ounces a day, whatever that number is, and have all the ticks on your big water jug and do that whole thing. I just think that's not efficient and it's not tailored to you. So what I usually tell people is when you get up in the morning, drink a full glass of water. You don't have to, I would say you don't have to chug a glass of water like you're in college, playing beer pong or something like that. But drink a full glass of water and rehydrate yourself from the night, because you get actually very dehydrated throughout the night. And then from there, just drink enough water so that you're peeing about every 1 to 2 hours during the day. That's going to be different for everybody, depending on how active you are, what you have going on. If you're nursing, things like that. There's a lot of factors. So just drink enough water so you're peeing every 1 to 2 hours, and that is the perfect hydration status. And then of course, when you get to about dinner time, slow down so you're not just up all night peeing as well too. That's what we did with her, and again, in 90 days, we basically knocked her point down more than any medication would have done for her. So wanted to throw that little tidbit out at you. If you're not doing that and you are in that excess sugar range, then do this, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, hope that helps everyone. Appreciate the time like always, and I'll see you next week.